How can innovative NbS pilot projects that produce measurable results be successfully replicated and upscaled in other cities throughout Europe and across the world? In this short segment, we want to introduce the integrated and process-based replication approach taken within the EU-funded Clever Cities projects, the NbS Replication Roadmaps. I'm Philipp Lahaela Walter with ICLEI Europe, and together with my awesome colleague and project partner Helen Nilson from Malmö, Sweden, we will give you an overview of how we went about supporting 6 amazing European cities, preparing the ground for successful NbS replication based on a standardized management system, research and real-world experiences in NbS implementation from 3 clever frontrunner cities. Among other goals, the Clever Cities project aims to promote and enable the uptake of nature-based solutions in urban planning worldwide. Successful replication is crucial for the uptake and upscaling of NbS. Under replication, we consider copying the specific features of an NbS that made it successful in a pilot setting and reapplying these in the same or another setting, taking into account that the framework conditions could be quite different from those in the piloted area. This may also encompass the management process that was used in the pilot scheme or the co-creative structure between key stakeholders. The project achieves that through a frontrunner fellow city approach, where frontrunners, here in green, implement innovative NbS in living labs, and fellow cities, here in blue, engage in replication by co-creating with key stakeholders the NbS replication roadmaps as the foundation of locally tailored urban NbS plans. A peer-to-peer exchange mechanism ensures that lessons learned crucial to NbS planning and implementation are being exchanged between frontrunner and fellow cities. Fellow cities learn from frontrunner cities' experience with implementation, and frontrunner cities learn from fellow cities' experience with roadmaps and NbS plans, ensuring powerful cross-fertilization. To support the fellow cities' replication activities, we developed a template for city-specific NbS replication roadmaps, which is based on the standard 37101 Sustainable Development in Communities Management System for Sustainable Development. The standard by the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO, lays out a plan, do, check, act model consisting of a number of iterative strategic steps as well as sequential operational steps. The steps guide the cities through the thorough consideration of crucial planning aspects, such as co-creation, governance and management, social innovation, technological and environmental aspects, including addressing common political, administrative, societal, technical, legal and financial barriers, which helps to avoid traps and dead ends when replicating and upscaling NbS. The NbS Replication Roadmap Template includes 6 concrete steps and some more sub-steps which operationalize the 37101 standard for cities to co-develop plans and strategies for NbS replication locally, as well as processes and procedures to mainstream NbS as a guiding principle in decision-making procedures and long-term urban regeneration and development programs for their municipalities and beyond. Concretely, the roadmap helps them to set out the governance structure of the NbS replication process, implement the co-creation and stakeholder engagement process and an underlying communication plan, outline the process to mainstream NbS in decision-making and urban planning, schedule and outline the development of an urban NbS plan, identify urban data platforms to be used, decide on a monitoring and evaluation process for replication activities, identify options for scaling out the employed NbS as well as to determine current financing and investment instruments in place, as well as innovative business models. In its EU Biodiversity Strategy for 2030, the European Commission sets out an unprecedented and ambitious set of goals, targets, and action items to address the dire biodiversity crisis in Europe. The strategy includes a call on all European cities with at least 20,000 inhabitants to develop ambitious urban greening plans. With its innovative NbS Replication Roadmap approach, the Clever Cities project was already able to make a major contribution to mainstreaming NbS on a European level. In its capacity as a contractor for the European Commission, Clever Cities partner ICLEI Europe had the opportunity to co-coordinate the consultation and drafting process of the guidance material supporting cities in following the Commission's call to create urban greening plans. During this process, the Clever Cities NbS replication roadmaps proved to be a robust framework for the urban greening plans guidance material. With that, I want to hand it over to my dear colleague Helen from Malmö to highlight some concrete outcomes that the roadmap approach already had in the Clever Fellow Cities.
Thank you, Philip. I'm Helen Nilson from the Environment Department of the City of Malmö in Sweden. I'm going to talk about the concrete benefits the fellow cities have found using the roadmap in the development of their NbS plans. Malmö is one of the 6 fellow cities in the Clever Cities project. The fellow cities are being inspired by the work of the front-runner cities and learning from their work of implementing nature-based solutions in their cities. The 6 fellow cities are Belgrade in Serbia, Larissa in Greece, Madrid in Spain, Quito in Ecuador, Svante Gauge in Romania, and Malmö here in Sweden. The 6 fellow cities are all very different, but the common roadmap template has helped us to focus on the important tasks that we all need to complete in order to develop and produce our NbS plan. One key part of the production of the roadmaps and their input into the development of the NbS plans has been the involvement of each city's UIP as a sounding board and discussion forum. Every fellow city has a UIP in some form. UIP stands for Urban Innovation Partnership, which is an informal alliance of local and city authorities, community groups, businesses, and academics. This concept is a replication of the partnerships that the front-runner cities established for their Clever Action Labs. The UIP members are brought together in each city to help promote and spread information about nature-based solutions within the project. They are incredibly valuable tools in the development of our NbS plans. As Philip mentioned, the roadmap is divided into 6 different steps. I will be going through each step and mentioning an example from the fellow cities to illustrate how it was useful. So, the first step was the current state. This gave us all an opportunity in our city to review the current situation. In Quito, the chosen district was San Enrique de Velasco. It is a district located in the northwest part of the city. It is a peri-urban neighbourhood that is relatively deprived of vegetation due to the surrounding ravines and environmental degradation. This district is a new area that the city has not studied before. The roadmap was therefore the perfect opportunity to gather all the information that was available and see if there were any gaps in this information that needed to be filled. Setting the vision was the second step. This gave the fellow cities the chance to really focus on what they wanted to do. Svante Gauge have focused on plans to increase the city's resilience in the face of extreme weather, such as flooding, and improve access to and the quality of green spaces for locals to enjoy. The focus area is around the Debren River, which is prone to flooding. Svante Gauge used this opportunity to identify the important principles they wanted to include in their vision for their NbS plan. These were then discussed with their UIP. The third step was exploring opportunity and gaps. This helped us here in Malmö to identify the barriers and what sort of NbS plan could work in Malmö when these barriers were considered. Our UIP was also heavily involved in the process. Our focus area is the district of Lindängen, which is a socially deprived area on the edge of Malmö. The intention is to work together with local residents and other actors to co-create plans to address health-related challenges, amongst others. Define nature-based solutions was the fourth step. It saw the fellow cities decide which nature-based solutions would be the most appropriate for the chosen district of their city. Larissa plans to use co-creation to transform the Ethiage area of the city into a public park. The area is currently seen as an urban vacuum, and there has been a long-standing demand to incorporate the development of the area into the greater city planning. Larissa worked closely not only with municipal staff, but also local associations, schools, residents and academia in order to get as much input as possible to the process. This was done to ensure that the chosen solutions are the most appropriate for the park. Developing the urban NbS plan was the fifth step, and in Madrid, the UIP played an important role. Madrid wanted to merge the top-down objectives of the municipality with the bottom-up ambitions of neighbour associations and citizens. The chosen nature-based solution for their green corridor was selected as a result of the discussions and decisions that were developed in the UIP. The planned green corridor is in the Ursera district of the city. The aim is to create a green corridor between two of the most important parks in the district. This will both improve the microclimate as well as increase accessibility to pedestrian areas. The final step, producing the urban NbS plan, has helped Belgrade create their NbS plan, which will be submitted to the City Assembly in 2022. By following the steps in the roadmap, as well as lots of discussion with its UIP, Belgrade has already a complete plan ready for submission to the City Assembly. The linear park that Belgrade are planning will be built around a historic railway track with the aim of improving public health in the area, as well as creating a hybrid public space that can be used in many ways. So, to sum up, I would say that the urban innovation partnerships of the frontrunner cities have inspired the fellow cities in their work and in the creation of their own UIPs. The fellow cities have also been inspired by the frontrunners' work with co-creation, and this practice has been replicated in a number of the fellow cities. The roadmap format is structured in such a way as to be able to be applied to not only all the 6 fellow cities, but also any city or district that wants to create its own NbS plan. That is all we want to say about our work with the roadmaps. Thank you very much for listening.